A response variable measures an outcome of a study, and explanatory variables explains or causes change in response variable. Okay, I think this definition we have talked about many times in the past, including the two-way table. Okay, now, as I mentioned, observational study, you can only establish association, not causation. Only experiment, through an experiment, you can establish what? Causation, or you say cause and effect relationship. However, not every research subject or not every research what? Project you can design as what? Experiment. For example, if you want to study the relationship between smoking and lung cancer, this has to be done through what? Observational study. You cannot design as an experiment. Is that okay? Because you cannot force people to do what they don't want to do. Is that okay? But when I say that, you need to also notice that a lot of laboratory research, we study the relationship between lung cancer and smoking through small animals like mice or rabbits. Okay, that's doable. Okay, but you cannot apply to human being. Okay, now next one. So we know not everything you can design as experiment, so we have to use what? Observational study. But there are problems with observational study. And that problem is observational study can be misleading about cause and effect relationship. Okay? A famous study from early research on smoking on health. Okay? Table 2. Death rate per 1,000 people per year. For non-smoker groups, we found 20.2 people died. Cigarette smokers, 20.5. Cigar and pipe smoker, 35.3 people died. If a person never has any study training in statistics, he may jump out the conclusion. Better stay as non-smoker. If you really want to smoke, you smoke with a cigarette or with a pipe. Cigarette, because this group has what? Much lower death rate. But is that conclusion right? Actually, that's wrong. Okay? Let me explain why that is wrong. Well, this is what I quote from what? Yahoo. Okay? Is smoking a pipe better or less harmful than smoking cigarette? Tobacco in raw cigarettes is more chemically treated than pipe tobacco. But you have the added benefit of the filter. However, a filter may not be as beneficial as most people think, as there are chemicals in the filter that smoke goes through and collects, and then you ingest. This is what I quoted from what? Yahoo. So after reading the paragraph, you can understand. Pipe smoking is actually what? Safer, much safer. But how come this group death rate is much higher? Well, what is the reason? Let me ask you a question, okay? Say, who is the last person you remember smoke with a pipe? Anybody? Do we have any smoker in the room? You don't remember? I tell you what. Who will use pipe to smoke? Older people. Why older people gonna use pipe to smoke? Because they know pipe smoking is safer. Is that okay? Since pipe smoking is safer, this attracts a lot of older people. But you know older people die faster than what? Younger people. Okay? It's not because what? Pipe smoking is not safe. On the contrary, pipe smoking is more safe. Okay? It's safer. Therefore attracts many what? Older people to use pipe smoking. But since they are older, they die faster than younger people. That is the reason why pipe smoking has what? Highest death rate. Is that okay? So let's look at table 3. Okay, then it becomes very clear. Okay, become very clear. Table 3, death rate adjusted for age per 1,000 people per year. Adjusted age means what? We compare people of similar age. Table 2, we compare people of different age. Okay, that's why it's an illusion. If you compare people of the same age, we find non-smoker groups, 20.3 people die, still the lowest one. Cigarette smokers, 28.3, now jump very high. And cigar and pipe smoker drop down to what? 21.2 people die. Are you with me? So for this study, there is another cause at work behind the scene, and that is age. For non-smokers, on average, were 54.9 years old. The cigarette smoker, on average, were 50.5 years old. And cigar and pipe smoker, on average, were what? 65.9 years old. And those numbers are for table 2, not for table 3. Is that okay? So you can see in table 2, pipe smoker or cigar smoker, they are much older. Okay, much older. Therefore, that group has highest death rate. Now let's define a lurking variable. Age is a lurking variable in the above example. Lurking variable. A lurking variable is a variable that is not among the explanatory or response variable in the study, and yet may influence the interpretation of relationship among those what? Variables. Okay?